The reviews you read, say for a restaurant, it means so much more when there's a photo of what you're going to be eating or what you want to order. Then imagine a video of the whole ambiance of the place and the dining experience and all of that. It just sells it for you more. So versus reading, a patient testimonial on a website, you have a whole video of someone crying when they see their smile reveal, or it just sells it and it's more exciting to watch. Those get more engagement.
Right.
Photos that we post get so many likes, but no one's really sharing photos unless they're the person in the photo.
Welcome to another episode of the Orthopreneurs podcast. Today, I have a very, I'm trying not to laugh because she makes me laugh. You're making me laugh, Brooke.
Sorry.
I have somebody special here today. Please welcome, I can't call her doctor yet, Brooke Bruneman. Welcome, Brooke.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I know you really weren't looking forward to doing this, but thank you for saying yes. We appreciate it. By the way, Pana, she made it, okay? Her mom, she told her mom that she was going to be on the podcast, and her mom said, he must be getting desperate. And I'm like, Pana, no, we wanted her outright, okay? We're not desperate. Let me tell you a little bit about Brooke and who she is, and then I'll let her pick up the story and tell you a little bit more about her life. Brooke was someone who came into my life as a dental assistant, and she was very clear with us when she came in and said, one day I'm going to go to dental school. And it actually led to a conversation, Brooke, that you're unaware of that we had in Orthopreneurs, where I posted, I said, it's my belief, it's better to bring in people who are going to leave you at some point, but they're going to leave you off better than you found them. Your practice will be stronger because of your interaction with them. And that even if somebody's coming for a year or a year and a half, and then they're leaving, but they're a special person, you should definitely take that chance as opposed to, they're leaving in a year. I don't want them. I don't need the time to train and manage, because it's my belief that, like anything else in this world that relates to energy, energy rubs off. When a rock hits another rock, the two rocks exert energy on each other. And I think the positive karma, the positive energy that we've gotten from you has been amazing. And I couldn't imagine trading it for anything. And so, Brooke is now in dental school. So tell everybody a little bit about dental school and where you are and what's going on. And then I'll lead them into why you're here, because I want to talk about much more than her just coming for a year in our practice. She plays a very vital role in the success of my office, even while she's in dental school. And that's what I really wanted to talk about today. So Brooke, take it away. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, what you mentioned, when I came in to interview with you, I mentioned going to dental school, and I remember feeling nervous about telling you that because I was worried I wouldn't get hired, because I thought it was a negative that I wasn't going to be there for, X amount of years and someone wouldn't want to invest in me. But I was so surprised by your reaction. You just didn't even think twice about it. You're like, well, you'll go and you go, and that's not really a factor in this interview right now. And that was impressive to me, your outlook on it.
Well, we were desperate. I mean, I'm just...
Yeah.
I kid.
Yeah.
And again, this is the relationship I have with my team members, right? We like to joke and have fun. But yeah, I saw you come in and you had an interesting history as well. But first, where are you in school right now? So you can give a shout out to everybody who's a graduate.
I'm in my second year of dental school at the Woody L. Hunt School of Dental Medicine here in El Paso, Texas.
So habla español?
Yeah, you were working on it.
Nobody, if you haven't been to El Paso, you learn. You're going to speak Spanish quickly.
Oh yeah. Well, this is the only dental school in the US that has students taking Spanish classes, and it's dental related Spanish. So I can ask my patient, what's the reason for your visit today? Are you in pain? It's very focused on how you would run an appointment. So I can't really have a great conversation with you at a restaurant or something, but I can kind of figure out what's going on teeth-wise.
Well, the purpose of the program, from what I understand, was designed to really try to create more providers to help with some of the more rural Texas towns where English is not spoken a whole lot, right?
Yeah, a lot of my patients are only Spanish speaking, so we do have some translators, but it's part of our graduation to pass a competency where you do an appointment in Spanish. And the Spanish department here is what grades you. So they come to the clinic, you have your patient come and you perform the whole appointment in Spanish and you get graded, and you don't get to graduate essentially until you pass that encounter.
That's incredible. And I thought taking the boards in English was tough enough.
Yeah.
And I got to do it in Spanish. What percentage of your class, by the way, how many people in your class?
There is 61 students in my class. I'm the second class at the school, so it's a new school. The first class had 40 students. We just accepted a third of 60. I think the goal is to eventually go up to 80, 100. I think they're trying to do 60 for a few years to see that they can manage, having all 4 classes at once because we only have 3 right now.
And best guess, what percentage of your class speaks Spanish fluently already
Gosh.
from coming into the school? Because I remember you mentioned something about
Oh,
that.
yeah, they have the statistics. I don't know the exact number, but a really good amount. And the students that do speak Spanish fluently run Spanish labs. So outside of your Spanish classes, you can also meet up with those students for tutoring, more practice. And those are like actual, your peers, and they understand the exact scenarios you'll be in at the chair with patients. So doing those extra Spanish labs where they're actually able to work as tutors at the school is really cool as well.
Very cool. Very cool. So before we jump into dental school, and I want to just get a glimpse of what it's like to be a dental student in 2023.
Mhm.
One of the things that really jumped out to me on your resume when you came into the practice, one of the things that did encourage me to say, I don't care if you're coming for a year, I want you, is because you had work history at a very interesting company. What was it?
Mhm. I worked for the Walt Disney Company in Orlando, Florida at Magic Kingdom.
Right. And so she used to empty the garbage, right?
Yeah.
Underground. That was your job
Yeah, all day.
all day. No, but what was your job at Disney World?
Yeah, so I was in guest services, and a big part of the role is making sure the land is nice and tidy and everything's where it's supposed to be. I pretty much walk the land and make sure everything's running smoothly. We help set up for parades and stuff like that. But a big part of the role was just making sure guests were having fun and enjoying themselves. And it's kind of a stressful environment to be in a theme park for 12-hour shifts. It's a lot of hard work, but at the time I didn't think it was very applicable to dentistry and the career path I had chosen. Now that I look back on it, it has so much to do. We're technically in the service industry. We're providing a service. It's customer experience is such a big part of why they like their provider. So I rely on my training with Disney a lot more than I expected to when I'm dealing with patients or children or trying to solve a problem or de-escalate a situation. So yeah, I mean, it was a great experience. I was there for about a year. It's
Cool.
crazy how it really is involved in my day-to-day life, which I did not expect. I just did it because I liked the company and I thought it would be a cool experience to have, but it's played a major role in how I practice now.
I know I'm going off script here a little bit because before we started, we talked in very vague terms about what we wanted to talk about.
Mhm.
But now that we've brought Disney out into the open, so to speak, what are some lessons you learned at Disney? One, two, three, whatever you want to share that you think resonate with you on a day-to-day basis that you use, like isms, right? That they call them at Disney. What are some of the isms or things that they really press hard on that you think you use on a day-to-day basis?
The one thing that comes to mind is what they call magical moments. And it's basically where you can take any sort of normal situation, just day to day routinely thing, and how can you enhance that for someone? Because, and this applies to ortho, people come to Disney expecting a great experience. They're giving you a lot of money and they want as much as they can get out of it and they want to be happy. And you can see that in ortho all the time. But magical moments are when you can kind of be creative and figure out how to take this one step further. So, it reminds me of like D-bonds or the candy wall and fun stuff we do in the office. But yeah, around the park, I mean, it's helping someone cut the line or a mom someone drops their popcorn and you go and replace it for free, or just little things that you can do and that's the moment that sticks with them. They'll forget about they couldn't find a parking spot. They waited 2 hours for this ride, but because you did a special thing and went out of your way and made them feel unique and engaged with them on a personal level, it enhanced their experience in the park. And just little moments like that make all the difference. So that was a big thing that Disney emphasizes. Where can you find magical moments? Where can you, enhance these guest experiences?
There's a great TV show that we had, again, a big conversation on in Orthopreneurs.
Mhm.
It's called The Bear. Takes
Mhm.
place in Chicago, a family-owned restaurant. And there's this one episode, I don't want to, no spoiler alerts, but there's this one episode where the sort of loser cousin ends up working in this really high-end restaurant. And he starts seeing the kind of stuff you're talking about, where, somebody says, hey, but I wish I'd had X before I left Chicago. And somehow they figure out a way to work that into the meal without them ever knowing, and it's not even on the menu.
Yeah.
It really is amazing. Now, my question for you related to that is, do you think, now I want you to be honest here, no sugarcoating this, okay, Miss Disney employee,
Okay.
can you teach this or is it innate? Can you teach somebody to work well at Disney, or are you just born that way?
I think it's teachable because they have really efficient training. I think it'll come easier to those who kind of have that personal skills already in them and maybe they just need to hone it in. But I've seen, I mean, the cast members that I worked with come from all walks of life. We come from all over the world and speak different languages, and everyone goes to the same training. And I can't even imagine how many hundreds of thousands of people work for the company. So I definitely say it's trainable. In terms of applying it to the ortho or dentistry side of things, I think that's a little trickier because it's not just straight customer service. It's, there's more skills involved that you have to take into account. So I think it depends, but I think
Well,
in some aspects it is trainable.
I'm going to take this question and shift it just a little bit. And again, the reason I'm asking you, I'm putting you on sort of the hot seat, is because you've been in an ortho office. How long were you with our office?
It's going to be 4 years in a couple weeks.
Yeah. And how long were you in clinic with us?
I was in clinic maybe 2 to 3 years.
Right. And so you know what goes on. You've seen it. You've been a chairside assistant. You know what goes on. Do you think that you could get a Disney response across the board if you didn't share the same core values? Now, you
No.
can teach them how to do certain things, but I talk a great deal about right people, right seat, just like Gino Wickman talks about in his book Traction. You hire people for the right seat a lot of the time. Oh, she can be a great assistant. He can be a great assistant. But we often don't hire for the right person. And right person means sharing a certain number of core values that are indisputable, that we all believe the following and you do too. Do you feel like that's a part of Disney?
I do. Yeah. And that's definitely something harder to teach because people kind of can be set in their ways. So when I
Right.
think about it in terms of ortho, you can hire a really skilled assistant. They know their stuff. But a big thing in our office is teamwork. And if someone's running behind, you help them out, or someone needs an extra set of hands, you go to that chair. So if there's someone who just doesn't fit that kind of mindset and those core values that we have in the office, it doesn't matter how skilled they are
Right.
and how quick they are at what they do. It's not going to work because that's not our culture that we've built.
Brooke Bruneman throwing down the knowledge. But that's what I tell everybody out there, and I say it over and over and over again. Do not hire for skill.
Mhm.
Just because your friend is referring an assistant to your practice and she was amazing in their practice, that does not mean that the core values of that practice match your practice. And if you want to dismiss that, do so at your own peril. But if you hire a team of people with similar core values, you will step in front of a bus for each other. And
Mhm.
that's the key here, is that you're all rowing in the same direction. You're all working towards the same goal because you all believe in the same things. And so thanks for giving that clarity there, Brooke. I appreciate it.
And
Real
those
quick,
people are easier to train. I mean, when they're working as a group like that, they want to learn and they have a hunger for knowledge. So it's going to make training them for whatever job you need them to do more simple.
agreed, assuming that the shared core value is eager to
Mhm.
learn,
Yeah.
right? And if you've got a doctor or a team where learning is not that important, it might be a problem. Um, let's talk real quickly about dental school. When I was in dental school back in the 1840s, we only worked on cadavers. We only drilled teeth on cadavers. I kid. What's it like? What's it like being a dental student in 2023? Give me two or three of the coolest technologies that you play with in school that kind of blew you away when you started working on them. Because I saw your like operative lab where you do your like, and I was like, that is not. We had Dexter. He was a
Yeah.
head. He sat on a stalk. If we were lucky, the stalk wasn't broken and his head snapped back, or it was like terrible. What I
Yeah.
saw you working on was like state of the art. What are some of the things you work with that you love?
Oh gosh, I love our 3D scanners. They're not as amazing as iTero, but I don't know if a school could afford
Okay.
iTeros for all 100 students. But
Yeah.
we do have 3D digital scanners. So our school,
Personal. You each have a personal 3D scanner.
I mean, there's enough for it's in the dispensary, so you have to check it out, but there's
Okay.
enough for all the students to be using one.
Fair
And we
enough.
use them in SimLab and the clinic. So we don't do any impressions here. We don't do wax up. Everything's digital.
You don't do any wax
We
ups.
don't do any. We do like digital wax ups, which is basically building anatomy on a computer screen. It kind of looks like a ClinCheck. So you can rotate and do all these
Wow.
different things and build the cusps. So it's
It's a
kind
shame
of
because back in the day, you'd work on a wax up for 3
yeah.
days and then you give it to your doctor and he'd crush it with his fingers and go start
Yeah,
over.
we might be the only dental school not doing wax ups. I mean, they have a very innovative curriculum. Most
Wow.
dental schools, as you know, the first 2 years are strictly curriculum and the second 2 years are patient based. But this program, we see patients all 4 years of dental
Wow.
school. So I was doing a filling. My first filling was on your birthday, November 14th, my first semester of dental
So
school.
you were in school for 3 months
Hmm.
and you were doing fillings.
Yeah.
Oh my, and who's getting the patient numb? Hey everybody, tickets for Summit 2025 are on sale now. Take a listen to what some of the attendees from Summit 2024 had to say.
This is one of the most unique, most impactful meetings that you can go to as an orthodontist.
It has everything compared to other meetings. Entertainment, the content in the meeting, the speakers, the food.
I learned a lot. It helps the practice, so it really kind of checks all the boxes.
You hope to get something out of it that is going to pay dividends for years to come.
Definitely return on your investment.
We take back a lot to our office.
You get information that you probably don't get easily at any other meeting.
Yeah, we did Stab Lab a few weeks prior on each other.
So in your first year, 3 months into the program, you were already getting people numb and a handpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. That's
I know.
amazing.
It was
It's
wild.
both amazing and amazingly scary, but still,
Yeah.
we didn't get to start touching handpieces until the end of the first year. We had a summer lab that went on for, I think, 6 or 8 weeks, and we did 6 or 8 weeks of operative lab during the summer between first and second year. So second year, you started off right away doing fillings in clinic because you just spent the whole summer.
No, that was the first thing we did. Our first day in clinic was 3D scanning, and the next day was giving us our high-speed handpieces to practice drilling. So,
And when you drill these teeth, do they have sensors in them or anything?
no. Well, the endo ones kind of do. The endo pilots that we use, the little like robots, it tells you if you're going too deep or not, or if you breach the apex. So those are the only sensors we have, but no.
Very cool. Well, let's jump in now to the main reason for this interview today, because when Brooke said she was going to dental school, obviously our first thought was complete and utter happiness for her because that was her life dream. She wants to become an ortho at some point. I think she says that. We're not sure.
Yeah.
We definitely will not have a place for her when she comes back. Yeah, look at her twist her hair and play with her hair. Ha ha ha. But we were obviously thrilled for you when you got in. And then came the second part, which was, oh crap. You know, Brooke is doing the majority of our social media for us in our practice, right? She's the one coming up to everybody going, hey, here's the newest trend. Let's do this. Or like I remember during COVID, right, where we'd lay out all of the materials I would wear and I would jump from one to the next and they'd suddenly magically appear on me or backwards. So Brooke was the one who was always talking about, here's this new trend on TikTok, here's a new trend on Instagram or Facebook, wherever it might be. We should totally do this. We should totally do that. And she was the one arranging it for us. And again, with the Disney attitude, she was always doing it with a smile on her face and kind of rallying the troops. So our concern was when she was leaving to go to dental school was, oh crap, who's going to take this over? How are we going to do this? And it was crystal clear there could be only one person who could do it, and it was Brooke. And so you heard her say she's been working for us for 4 years because she is still working for us through dental school. Do you want to explain to everybody out there what you're still doing for us?
Yeah, so I'm still running our social media accounts, and then I do a little bit of marketing for us. So what I can manage behind the scenes in terms of like graphics planning, booking people, you know, getting everyone paid for, vendors, stuff like that. And I kind of just let everyone in the office implement it for me since I can't physically be there.
Yeah. And so think of it this way. We're about to change spaces. We're moving from one physical location into a new physical location. And we're going to have one heck of a blowout party when that happens. Well, Brooke has been instrumental in helping get that design. What are you looking for? How do you want it to be? What do you want it to feel like? You know, and she's been really good at almost like a party planner, for lack of a better description, right? But she's also doing, are you posting our TikToks?
Yeah, I'm posting everything for us.
Yeah. And so I knew the answer, by the way. But she's posting everything for us. She's coming up with ideas. She's telling us, hey, by the way, Grant Collins just did this and it was amazing. We should totally do this. Or so-and-so just did this and we should totally do this. Or I saw this on a non-orthodontic post. We should totally do it. And so I want to talk a little bit about how we work together and how the office works together, because for many people out there, they don't necessarily have a team member who's doing this for them now, and let alone from afar. And so let's start first. If you were going to hire somebody right now right? Glenn Krieger doesn't know who Brooke Bruneman is. You're my sister. And I say, hey, sis, I need to hire somebody to help me in the office, not at dental school, not away. What do I need? What am I looking for? Who's my prototypical person, if you were going to describe them, that should be taking over my social media and my practice? And I'll have a follow-up question for you after that.
The first thing that comes to mind is wanting somebody younger. That's kind of how I got started in it. I was the youngest person in the office at the time, and Whitney, our lead assistant, just handed me.
By the way, Whitney, for the record, she's not calling you young. Just want to say that. You want somebody younger.
Stop.
I want to be crystal clear here.
Well, Whitney ran it for a long time, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough for her trying to train and be at every chair. You know, she's managing the whole clinic. So
Yeah, she's our clinical lead. She's
yeah,
our
it
manager.
wasn't super realistic for her to be doing. And I was in sterilization when you hired me. So I just had more free time. I wasn't at a chair. So it was really easy for me to jump around. But yeah, I would say someone younger that's familiar with the platforms. It's a little bit more challenging to try and train someone how these work. It would save you a lot of time if you got someone out of college or someone in that studied, you know, marketing, social media, stuff like that. It's a really popular field now that people are going into with the success of all the influencers and everything we're seeing online and people making real money that way. So I think it's become more of an interest, and just businesses wanting to market in a different way. So
I'll interrupt you just for a second, because we've done that.
Yeah.
And I found that I will say personally, having watched hiring that sort of young agency where people are real excited and know their marketing and they actually have formal degrees, and I feel like what you do is way more organic. I feel like hiring somebody who genuinely loves to be on TikTok, who loves to be on Instagram.
You have to like it.
Has to like it and has to follow it, right? Because a lot of people make the mistake of saying, oh, I got a young 22-year-old assistant. She's going to be expert at TikTok, but she may hate TikTok.
Yeah.
She may hang out on Snapchat all day long, never go on TikTok, never go on Facebook, never go on Instagram. And it's of no use to you.
Mm-hmm.
You followed stuff. Like in the middle of the day, Brooke would come up to me and say, you got to see this, check this out. Look at what they just did at this. She enjoyed following and seeing the trends and seeing what was happening, because what I see from a lot of offices, and I'd love your feedback on this, is the same thing over and over and over again, that every office, here's another picture of Joe getting bonded with our assistant. Here's another person getting debonded. Look, they went to the candy wall. Here's another person signing the wall. They just got braces.
Yeah.
Or the trend that's 6 months old or a year old, that's already like, it's almost cringy that you see the team doing it and they don't even realize how outdated it is that they're doing now.
Well, it's not going to get the same traction when you jump on a trend 6 months later. Like, that's the hard part about trends, is you don't know what's going to be popular unless you're constantly on there, just seeing what pops up, because what's trending just shows up on your feed. So if you're not on there all the time, and then I'll hear one song, and you kind of base it off of songs sometimes. Like, this one song just came out. It's everywhere. Everyone's doing videos to it because that's what's popular and that's what's circulating. So even if you just take a song and put it to whatever you're doing in the office, it doesn't even have to be a trend. I mean, that can even spike your views and get traction for you.
Yeah. If the song is trending and someone's searching, you're going to pop up there. You're going to come across the feed a lot easier. I also love the fact that you do a lot of stitching.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's pretty much just not even having to come up with your own content.
Can you explain to everybody what that is in case they don't know?
Yeah. So stitching on TikTok is where...
By the way, this is like such a boomer moment. I just want to say that out loud, okay? This is like, what is this stitching you speak of, Brooke?
Yeah, there's stitching and duetting. So there's different things that you can do on the app, but it's where someone else has already posted a video and you're basically doing a response to it or commenting on it. So you can either put it as a green screen in your background, so their video's playing while you're over it, or you can duet it where you're right next to them. There's a lot of different options, but it's kind of riding the coattails of someone else. They already did the hard work. They went viral. They've got all these views. And now you responding to it or reacting to it has more potential to take off and go viral because their video is already so successful. So it's kind of a mixture of you generating your own, unique twist on it, but it's responding to someone else's already viral content. And to me, that's the easiest way to have stuff take off, is because these other people are doing crazy things. Sometimes it's just crazy, like fluke accidents that people are responding to, things that you couldn't really generate yourself.
Right.
So just doing a reaction to it can get a lot of traction.
Or some ridiculous comment someone makes about braces, or you got a 10-year-old kid putting like a hairband around two teeth and going, "This is how you close a space," and you could duet that and just be like,
like, that's not what you should be doing,
right? Like, do not do, or some of my favorites are duets. When I've seen some amazing duets, or a stitch. I mean, I love both of them, but at the end of the day, it's content that's already out there. The problem is a lot of the creators don't allow you to stitch or duet.
A lot of it is got to be like random people that went viral, and they want you to use their videos so that they go more viral. Right. So,
if it's somebody who has 1 million followers, chances are they've turned off the ability for you to duet and stitch because they don't want you riding their coattails. But if somebody who has 1,000 followers, or by the time you see them, they'll have more than 1,000.
Yeah.
Do you think, by the way, on Instagram or on TikTok, the whole watch only or watch and follow, has that been good for engagement? You know what I'm talking about? Whenever you want to see something, it wasn't like that, 6 months or a year ago, where if you send me a link to something that's pretty cool that I want to, that's going viral and I want to see it, before I can see it, it gives me the option. Do I just want to watch it, or do I want to watch and follow? Right. Yeah. And it almost makes it like you're not going to watch and follow. You're just going to watch it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really hurt.
Watch and follow.
Right. But I feel like that's really hurt followers. Because
you don't know what you're watching yet. Like, I don't know if I want to follow you because I haven't seen it yet.
And I guess you can always follow afterwards if you like it. But I mean, just to give you guys an idea, we've had posts that Brooks created that I think we had, like 9.5 million views?
Yeah.
I think, is that our biggest one, is 9.5 or something? So.
There was another one that went viral on Instagram, but I don't remember. That 9.5 million was the TikTok one that went big.
Which is crazy. We had 9.5 million views. And folks, I'm going to give you 3 choices to tell me what it was that they watched. A, I pulled a tooth on a sedated bear, right? Number 1. Number 2, a typodont eating candy. Or 3, a patient whose life was changed by having new braces taken off and letting them see their smile for the first time as they cried. Which one of those 3 got 9.5 million views? Hint, it wasn't the bear and it wasn't the life-changing smile. It was a freaking typodont chewing candy. Am I wrong?
No, that's it. I don't know. What? And that was so random because we had just started our account when that was happening. And I was like, oh, this would be fun because, I mean, it's experimental. You don't know what's going to take off. That's why you just have to keep posting and see if anything sticks. So yeah, the candy video was just for fun, really. And then
it was ridiculous.
We woke up the next day
in the staff room, and I just said, "Hey, what'll happen if we just throw all this candy in the mouth and mush it together and throw it in the microwave?" Remember? I put it in the microwave, so I got really disgusting and just started mushing and we got 9.5 million views. And I things you shouldn't be eating with braces. I could not believe that. I will say, would you disagree if I said that typing on videos get more engagement than anything else you post?
Yeah. And then, I mean, still, like, I'll post one just for fun, just to get the back up. Yeah, but that's by far.
You posted typing on video.
Or what? Because ASMR has been really popular, like the sounds of like eating and chewing. So maybe it's that, but who knows?
I hate ASMR. Like, I hate it. I can't stand watching these creepy, creepy women with long nails, with a hairbrush in her hand going,
"Hello." The whispers freaked me out.
The whisper is freaking me out. It freaks me. I can't stand ASMR for the rest of you out there. But the point is, it doesn't have to be extravagant. And all too often, offices, in my opinion, think of these really extravagant sketches to run, right? We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And they work on it for a week and they get virtually no engagement, and they give up. Well, I'm done. I think sometimes it's just timing. Sometimes it's time of day. It's what's trending. And again, having someone like Brooke, who you can bounce these things off of. I mean, we just did one that you showed me last night that's going to post that I think is great. It's fantastic. Welcoming Dr. Albritton into the practice. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It might not get a lot of traction, but I'll tell you, it makes us all laugh and we enjoy it. And that's really, at the end of the day, what was important.
Yeah.
I want to now ask you, so now I have Brooke, she's working for me, she's going off to dental school. How do you work remotely? What are some of the systems that have been set up to make it so that you can be at dental school? How far away is El Paso driving wise? 10
Okay.
hours, 8 hours?
11 hours. I'll never drive it again.
Yeah. Oh, I've driven that one. Driving my daughter to Tucson, the University of
Oh,
Arizona. I drove
it's
through
an
El
hour
Paso.
flight. It's just easier to get on a plane.
It is. It is. And it's not a pretty, no offense, Texas is a great state, but that drive of West
There's
Texas,
nothing out here.
a lot of oil derricks, a lot of flames. Drive at night, you'll see flames coming out of the ground everywhere. But what do you need to set up for systems to be effective, to be able to do this 11 hours driving away from where we are?
So the best thing for me is how flexible you guys were in the office, because I work really weird hours. I mean, I'll clock in during my lunch, in between lectures. I clock in and out, I don't know how many times a day. I work on the weekends a lot. It's kind of just wherever I can fit it in. So not having set hours really helped me out. And Tracy, our director of operations, told me just work however much you can, whenever you can, like, we're going to work it out with you. So that flexibility that y'all gave me really made a difference.
Here's how it typically works. I'll let you tell it. You come up with an idea. You're like, hey, I just saw this amazing thing. I want us to do this, right?
Yeah.
What do you do? How do you get the stuff you need?
And sometimes it's not even me. I mean, it's a real group effort. The girls in the office fuel this operation because I only post whatever they send me. So if they're not constantly sending me photos, videos, the team bondings, what you guys are doing, I have no idea what's happening because I'm disconnected from you guys. And I'm not there like I used to be to kind of harass you for videos, set up the ring light and tell you I need a quick clip. Like, I'm not there managing it. So without the team pulling together and getting all of this content for me, nothing gets posted. So everything that is posted within the last year, I haven't taken any of those images, any of that footage. That's all been sent to me that I can edit and schedule to get out. But without the team, and it really is a team effort. There's no one person in each office, whose role is to collect this information for me. It's a group effort.
But what percentage of the content that's been posted was your idea in the first place?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, I definitely send a lot of, it's easy to communicate, through text, TikTok.
And that's where I'm trying to go with this is you'll be looking at TikTok, you'll see a trend that's starting to go crazy, right? Something's happening, something's going viral. And you're like, will you take like a screenshot of it and send it to Whitney and say, hey, I want to
video. Yeah, I'll send the exact link and I'll be like, I need these shots. Like, get these throughout the day. And then I can piece it together. So a lot of it is really just kind of duplicating what we've seen elsewhere be successful and putting our own twist on it, maybe putting a different song to it. But it's already content that we've seen or trends that we want to jump on and, spin it in our way or for our office or for Ortho. So it's really easy to just send video. And that's what people do in their day-to-day lives. They send each other funny videos that they want to watch and enjoy together. So it's really easy to do that. It's not like I have to send a formal email and request all this stuff. We just text. We use Slack as an office. So we have a Slack channel titled social media, and it's pretty much everyone in the whole office that just dumps stuff there all throughout the week. While I'm in class, they're just posting everything in there. And then at the end of the week, when I'm done with my exams, I go through the whole, week's worth of material and I can edit everything and get it scheduled. So, I really rely on them getting stuff. But whenever I ask for them or send them, it's easier when I send them an example of what to copy, because it's hard to just say, oh, send me whatever. Like, people don't always know like what I'm looking for. Or sometimes the footage isn't as usable as they thought it would be. So versus from my perspective. So me being able to give some guidance on what I'm looking for definitely helps.
Do you think there's a sweet spot in terms of the amount of content that gets put out every week? Like, should there be a couple of videos? There should be every day. There should be this and that. I know you're not the expert, but you've got your handle on this pretty well. Ideally, what do you like to see in terms of posting?
I like videos more than anything. I think images are, they're fine. I kind of use images as filler for us if I don't have any footage. But an image, I mean, you're just looking at one thing. Timmy got his braces off. That's awesome. But I'm glad he signed the wall. I'm glad he's excited. That's a great moment. But you can feel it more when you're watching him get his braces off, when you're watching his reaction in the mirror, when you're seeing how happy he is, or a parent's reaction to that. Like, you can participate in that moment more, and something about the music you choose and timing it with how you edit it. is so much more involved. And when even doctors are in the video, that makes a big
Right.
difference too.
Stu Frost nailed that. I think
Yeah.
he was arguably one of the first people I saw who really built his online presence around giving the mirror to the patient,
Yeah.
right? He's in the picture.
Mhm.
There's music a lot of times in the background, and you've got a patient who just gushes, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you want to be treated by that person.
Yeah.
And
Well, compare that to reading like a Google review. Like, the reviews you read, say for a restaurant, it means so much more when there's a photo of what you're going to be eating or what you want to order. Then imagine a video of the whole ambiance of the place and the
Right.
dining experience and all of that. It just sells it for you more. So versus reading, a patient testimonial on a website, you have a whole video of someone crying when they see their smile reveal, or it just sells it and it's more exciting to watch. And I think those get more engagement. Our
Agreed.
photos that we post get so many likes, but no one's really sharing photos unless they're the person in the photo, but people are sending videos. You can see who shares them, who reposts them to their story. Other offices can repost them. There's like Ortho pages that just share stuff like that. So those are easier to take off and they're more entertaining, honestly.
I agree. I see people just do nothing but post 35 pictures. And I'm like,
Yeah.
not only is it not doing anything, but it's wasting your time. Like, do one video instead of 10 pictures, in my opinion.
Videos are harder to capture. I mean, it takes more effort. You guys recently got a little ring light that you've put at the chairs, and the girls have been time lapsing with
I saw
one
that.
whole appointment. I love them. I've just edited a bunch of them this week, but it's putting on the braces start to finish or taking them off. And you can actually see what it's like to do your entire first appointment. And that can help a lot for someone who's scared or nervous or has anxiety about the appointment. Like, look, he got it on. It's 20 seconds. It's time lapse, but he's fine. He's just laying there and everything's going to be okay. Look how happy he is with his stuff. So
I feel like I should duet those, like duet my own explaining what's going on.
Yeah,
like,
honestly,
I feel like I should be on the camera next to it. Now that we've posted it once,
you could
use
green
it a
screen
second
it.
time with me on it, just saying, okay, here's what's going on right now. Look at, you see these brackets? We're putting that,
Yeah.
and spending that 30 seconds of explaining what it is, and in sort of an Ashley Kissling sort of way.
Yeah. Something
And
I want you to do more, what she's done is she mentioned I listened to her talk at OP, but it's like her face and people recognize her on the platform as like the expert in this
Right.
field, and she comes up. So I feel like things where you're in it and it's your, image, I think those always tend to do more than just, the random girls in the office, random patients. Like there's something about it when you're in it or it's your voice and it's kind of
Exactly.
like a brand,
And yeah, and again, we posted it. Now we've got it. Let's duet it. Can you duet your own stuff?
I think so. If anything, you can green screen it. Worst case, you save it from when you
Yeah, save it just as a video.
re-upload it as a green screen.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
look what you did here today, Brooke. Look at all the good you brought. You taught us about dental school and what's going on. You shared some ideas about Disney and what makes a successful outcome and how to just rise above and give people more than they ever expected when they least expect it. And of course, the input you gave us related to social media has been huge. And so I know you were probably really worried. What are we going to even talk about? But Pana, your daughter did great. Okay. Now you know why I wanted her on here. But truthfully, coming into our lives was such a blessing with you, Brooke. You've been an amazing part of the team so far. Can't wait to see where it goes in the future. Who knows? Maybe in 11 years when you're at a dental school and ortho residency, there might be a job waiting for you at Krieger Bruneman Orthodontics. But you're going to have to wrestle Dr. Albritton because she's there first. And personally, I think she could take you.
I think she
but
could.
want to wish you nothing but incredible success on your dental school journey. I know that everybody listening is throwing out good juju your way as well. And just thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It was amazing.